Tuesday night vibes, the mic's on fire. C3 Panthers, podcast, fueling desire. The professor bringing wisdom, Cody lacks raw wit. The voice and bat daddy, yeah, the crew legit. Live at 9, watch the sparks ignite. Carolina pride, teal and black take flight. Talking Bryce Young, got the future in sight. C3 Nation, roll deep through the night. Playbook, crafting that plan. Dan Morgan stacking talent, every move's the man. Panther growl loud, stadium lights gleam. From Charlotte to the globe, we reppin' the dream. Tap in for the breakdowns, the plays in the news. Analyzing every yard, never hitting snooze. QB1 Bryce, turn the doubters confused. C3 Panthers podcast, always in the groove. The professor dropping facts, Cody's passion's alive. Bet daddy wild takes, keep the theories revived. The voice with the insight, smooth as silk. Cod calf, sharp enough to cut, no barley or milk. Live at 9, watch the sparks ignite. Carolina pride, teal and black take flight. Talking Bryce Young, got the future in sight. C3 Nation, roll deep through the night.
Maybe we're just saying we're going to take a drink of this Kool-Aid, and then we say, that tastes a little funny.
Panther Nation, your weekly therapy session has arrived. The Carolina Panthers were thoroughly abused in Bank of America Stadium. Final score 40-9. Absolutely a comedy of errors. Andy Dalton looked absolutely awful. Everyone in the fandom is calling for him to retire. The question that we're going to ask today: how different would this game have been if Bryce Young was under center? But I'll tell you what, Bryce Young does not play defense, and this defense was abysmal, dude. We gave up the most yards ever to a player in the form of Cook today, who rushed for 216 yards. Oh, on top of that, we're now getting all of the information about a ton of injuries. It looks like Brady Christensen probably tore his ACL.
Or his Achilles. Ruptured his
Achilles, rather. Derek Brown left the game early. I don't know what the status on him is. A bunch of injuries. Panthers, you already know what time it is. This is your weekly venting session. If you would like to call and be a part of the show, have your voice heard on the cat calls, the number is 252-228-5098. Tony's coming back from a wedding from our boy White Chocolate Espresso. Congratulations to the boy, by the way. So I'm here with my bro, the voice that makes the voice, Codizzle Allen. What an absolute shit show, brother.
And listen, I agree. I don't think that Bryce Young changes the outcome of this game being in the L column. However, I do argue that this would have felt a little bit more competitive had we not gifted them 17 points and on turnovers, and some of those turnovers happening while we were threatening to score. Andy Dalton taking a sack with 10 seconds left in the first half, preventing us from getting some points on the board there. It was a comedy of errors. It really was. When things were going the wrong way, it never went the Panthers' way. It really felt as though we had the worst possible luck I have ever seen in a single football game. And that's not hyperbole. We lost our center, our right guard, and our right tackle in the same game. And we don't know the extent of all of those injuries, i.e. Taylor Moton or Cade Mays. But we know with Brady Christensen already out, now that he was in there for a injured Damian Lewis, or was he in there for
Hunt.
Robert Hunt? Robert Hunt. That is a massive blow to an offensive line that has already had some injury woes. And many people on the internet are saying this is the end of the Panthers season, especially if any of those injuries, any more of those three injuries, if outside of Brady Christensen, we have more season-ending injuries, there is a good chance this is like the beginning of the end of a season. Now, there is, I think the other part of this that I look at as maybe being a bit positive is we look at the Tuesday show. We were talking about needing Bryce to play because if Andy came in here, and he was able to throw well, it's just going to create more questions. Part of me is like, I don't know that the performance would have been significantly better than Andy, but I would rather that not be something that he has to, because we know he's our starter. I would rather this stink not be on his mind as he's going into next week, but which, by the way, facing a very similar offense, not an offense that is, outside of the realm of being, you're talking about Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love, with both of those guys having, Josh Jacobs and Jared Cook being very similar backs. I think there's a chance that we follow this performance up with more of the same if this defense can't seem to get it together. There are going to be people in the chat that are going to say that this isn't on the defense. The defense was getting cooked before the first quarter was up.
They gave up 141 yards in the first half.
They gave 84 yards in the first quarter alone in rushing. That's you can't put that on, like, it's not simply because the offense, that defense was not prepared. And it just basically, to me, it illustrated that this defense hadn't played anybody of any substance up to this point. And here we are, we're seeing this, what it looks like when they falter. And as we talked about, and we've talked about it ad nauseum, this team needs things to be perfect for them to be able to be competitive against good teams. And today, starting out the day without Damian Lewis, without Bryce Young, with a couple of people, Pat Jones not on the defense, man, it just felt as though this was just a perfect storm of things going on.
And CK, one of the questions that we had been asking recently was that a lot of our success recently came against some bad football teams. The Miami Dolphins, not a good team, which I think they beat the Falcons, didn't they? Or did the Falcons come back?
The Bills, or no, the Dolphins. The Dolphins.
Yeah, the Dolphins. Yeah, okay. So hey, that's at least.
But they didn't have Penix either, so. Right.
So the Miami Dolphins, we beat them. Dallas Cowboys have a really bad defense. We were able to beat them. Rico Dowd goes crazy. Mm-hmm. Then we play the Jets. Haven't won a game all season, and we were riding high. We were feeling good about the football team, but there were people who said, we haven't played anyone. We have not played a really, really good football team and done it against stiffer competition. Now, we also were not making up the fact that the Buffalo Bills had been having a problem defending against the run. So we felt that this was a perfect opportunity for us to keep the home streak alive and really do something big. And they ripped off our head and shit down our neck, dude. There's no way to say it. They had Mitchell Trubisky in the game with 10 minutes left of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
It was absolutely abysmal. Dude, let's start from the top. And we're going to get into your cat calls relatively soon. Again, if you want to have your voice heard, the number is 252-228-5098. But CK, it all started with the red musket. I just saw someone put that in the chat. No longer the red rifle. He is indeed the red musket. Has Chuba Hubbard.
Red Rider BB gun.
Has Chuba Hubbard open in the flat. Tries to run the football. And then fumbles it right away to him. And it felt like that was the momentum shift. Like early on, it was fairly close. But then Andy Dalton had probably the worst performance I've ever seen him have as a Carolina Panther. I haven't seen all of his games as a Bengal, but as a Panther, this was fucking atrocious.
Yeah, well, with that, additionally to that, this is just what we saw in the preseason too. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, this is the exact person we saw after his great game last year. Every game subsequently after that was dog water. Like, he looked like a washed up quarterback. Right. And then we go into this season and the preseason, when you watched the game, everybody will argue that he was playing with second stringers and also playing against second stringers, Andy Dalton looked probably worse than Matt Corral did in the preseason. I'm not even an exaggeration on that front. And why that's such a valuable thing is he came in last week, and I felt like we saw the same thing when he was in there last week, subbing in for Bryce Young to end the game. That throw to Xavier Legette, as much as people want to tout that being like chemistry, that was an underthrown ball that just happened to work out. There were multiple times he was missing just wide open guys today. He had one really pretty throw, but outside of that, it just felt like there was not zip. It just felt like he was not able to. He had no awareness of what a defense was doing, like with the pass rush or anything. He was holding on to the ball incredibly too long. And to top it all off, outside of the turnovers, we know the Bills are about to get the ball to start the second half, right? We know that they're one of the best teams in the NFL when it comes to scripted drives, as we saw in the first drive this game and the first drive of the second half, right? They are one of the best. So we know if we give the balls back to them and without scoring any points, we're going to be cooked. Like no two ways around it. And he's got the ball in his hands, holding on it too long, and he just takes a sack. You have got to throw it up to give somebody a chance, because we weren't able to. And then you force Fitzgerald to come on there and try to make that field goal.
Yes, rushing them on the field, not giving them any time. And listen, he had Teteroa McMillan in the back of the end zone. And he was open enough that if you put that ball into his chest, that's a touchdown before you end the half. And you know they're getting the ball back after halftime, and he just airmails it. Like, one of the reasons I was hopeful about this game is in prior seasons, we saw Andy come in and spread the ball around. And our offensive line was looking good. But, dude, he looked just abysmal, man. Like, he looks like he needs to retire yesterday, to the point that, at one point in time, Panther fans were saying, well, hey, Andy Dalton isn't bad for a backup quarterback. Yeah. Now we feel like he's a liability. And for whatever reason, if he cannot go against Green Bay, which, dude, if Bryce's foot was hanging off, they are going to put him in versus Green Bay. Yeah. There's no way, especially after what happened today. Bryce Young will be playing. That's a whole nother can of worms, because now he might be behind 3 backup offensive linemen, which is terrible. But we felt like Andy Dalton could at least be serviceable. I felt that he could. But this dude is such a liability. I don't doubt it. If maybe even Hendon Hooker gets a couple looks, if they decide that Bryce can't go for whatever reason, because you cannot put Andy Dalton under center going forward and expect to have a competitive performance.
Not
like, there's just no way possible.
And I think there's plenty of people who in the chat agree with this. I said Tuesday, I would rather have seen Hendon Hooker playing quarterback today. Like, that was my preference. I know a lot of people thought that was a crazy take, but I had seen enough of Andy Dalton last year. I saw what Andy Dalton looked like in the preseason. And while a lot of people were thinking coming into this that this was going to be a game we could win, without Bryce, I was confident it wasn't going to be. And so I felt as though you had nothing to lose. And to add to that, we are down by almost 40 points, and you're still keeping Andy Dalton in there. Right? That doesn't make any sense to me. You should have given an opportunity to some of the younger guys like Hendon Hooker to go in there and actually get a chance at getting some reps, instead of continuing to do what we did, which is bring Andy Dalton out there for that final drive, which, by the way, they just ran the ball. Like, it wasn't like they did anything special. They just ran the ball. And Dave Canales, based on some of the beat reporters, when asked about why they did that, they said, Dave Canales said, we wanted to give Andy Dalton an opportunity to kind of, get back on the horse, if you will. And I just thought that was the worst answer I've ever heard. I'm like, we are losing. I don't care about Andy Dalton getting his confidence back. That does not. The dude had a great career. I think we can all agree he had a great career. To be in the NFL still at 38 years old, having been considered one of the better quarterbacks at one point in his career. Yes, he doesn't have a Super Bowl ring, but we don't need to give him any participation trophies, right? He doesn't need any of that. He's 38. He knows the drill. He has been there. He's already been replaced by Joe Burrow. Give another guy an opportunity because he was clearly not doing it. To give you an example of why I say that, everybody was talking about how Xavier Legette and Andy Dalton's connection was so good last year. And then we saw that one play last week, and Xavier Legette coming off of one of his best games. Xavier Legette had 2 targets. Now they were 2 catches, but they weren't until the end of the game. Like, this is it's abysmal. And then let's talk about something else to go along with this coaching issue. This again, black and white, this very A-B rhyme scheme that we have when it comes to our running back situation. Yeah. One drive is Chuba. One drive is it
needs to be Rico. It needs to be Rico.
Dude, let's talk about some stats, okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
And I think this is valuable here. All right. Chuba Hubbard had 4 more rushes than Rico Dowdle. Chuba had 12 total attempts. Rico had 8. Chuba had 34 yards rushing. Rico Dowdle had 54. Rico Dowdle almost doubled his yardages with 4 less carries than he had, 33% less carries. He averaged 6.8 yards per carry to Chuba Hubbard's 2.8. His longest was 24. Chuba Hubbard's was 5. The problem with this little situation here is we're continuing this dumb trope that we want to make sure we have really rested running backs all the way to the end of the game and at the end of the season. Tell me what Derrick Henry thinks about that. Tell me what Christian McCaffrey thinks about that. Did you think these guys are like, let's rest me until the end of the season? No, none of these guys are like that. You've got to let a dog be a dog and let him take the rock. I like Chuba just as much as the next guy, but it is clear to this point after the past 4 or 5 games, there is no other running back that should be starting the game and getting 75% of the snaps outside of Rico Dowdle. Chuba should have a place on this offense. I agree with that. But Rico Dowdle should 100% be the bell cow. And that falls entirely on Dave Canales. That is an absolute travesty that we are still in a situation where we're refusing. And by the way, taking the ball out of the running back's hands is directly the reason why we just turned the ball over 3 times.
Yeah, it seemed like they wanted to prove a point with Andy and to have him pass way more than he should, but there's no reason at this point. We have seen enough. Rico provides a burst to this offense that Chuba simply has not this year. Maybe in years past he has, but this year it's plain for anyone to see that you need to run Rico to have a chance to win. And we just absolutely didn't. And the fact that Andy Dalton, CK, is such a statue back there, like he has no ability to extend any plays. So he would pretty much accept a sack before it even gets to him. The dude has no chance to be able to get out of the rush lanes. It's terrible, man. Yeah. So my thing is, we know what we need to do on offense. We need to run the ball, but now that's in question. Now that you don't have your starting offensive lineman, like today, we probably lost Christensen, Cade Mays, and Taylor Moton. We're gonna hope and pray that those injuries are not season enders for those guys. But dude, what about this defense? In the 3 games before, the Panthers only gave up 131 rushing yards to the 3 teams that we faced. Today, 216
to one person.
To one dude. Our defense was absolutely abused. Boo this defense, man.
Yes. That was a franchise record most rushing yards we've given away to one player in our history, okay? Not only is it history for us, that's the most rushing yards by a single player since O.J. Simpson for the Bills. Like, that is just hysterical.
Why do we always help teams break their own personal records?
Well,
it's so embarrassing, dude.
It's one of these moments where, again, everything was going against us, right? I agree with that part. But I also think one of the things we have been saying, and many people have been saying, this defense was being touted as being able to stop the run. And the only real rushing, offense we were able to stop the rush on that maybe we shouldn't have been able to do was the Jets, right? Like, even when you look at the Dallas situation, they were their explosiveness comes through the air, and they destroyed us in the air. The Jets, theirs solely comes from the run, and we were able to stop the run and in a significant way in that game. You could maybe argue the Dolphins, but they've been reeling from a lot of things too. So it's been fool's gold. Like, this defense up to this point has made us believe that they are a top 10 unit. Right, because you have Derek Brown and you have J.C. Horn, and these guys going up against backup quarterbacks or going up against running games that are maybe above average even. Yeah, they've been able to stop the run, but today, what you see, what a rested team that has weapons at have not only an MVP, former MVP quarterback, a running back who has played himself into a contract that nobody saw him getting when he first started his career in the NFL. James Cook, coming into this game, they were already one of the top rushing attacks in the league, and we couldn't do anything, couldn't stop him. And right now, James Cook just created an argument for being the best running back in the league against our defense.
Dude, James Cook had a career day, man. This defense, we had most of our starters, and they wouldn't mind gaps. I feel like Derek Brown, it wasn't looking like himself today. Trevin Wallace and Roseboom took a step back, and Josh Allen did not have to do much. Like, if you looked at Josh Allen's stat line, you would not think that it was a winning performance. Like, he didn't have to. I believe he only threw the ball 19 times. Yeah. So this win was all on the back of James Cook and what they were able to do today. Like, this propels their team forward. Now people are thinking, hey, are the Bills a contender again? Because people were starting to wonder what had happened to the Bills, but we were the get-right game for the Buffalo Bills, and now they're looking like a team that's going to contend later on down the road. So, I mean, you're welcome, Bills. And another thing, CK, that stadium was like 70% Buffalo Bills fans. So it's like they had a home game in front of their fans, and they had probably their best performance of the year. Like, now it has us reconsidering everything that we thought we knew about this defense and Ejiro Evero. And now we're asking ourselves all the same questions all over again.
Yeah, it's just a weird cycle to be in. We went on a 3-game winning streak, and we felt like all of our woes were gone and all of this. Like, again, I think going into this game, nobody thought, the majority of people would have understood us losing this game, right? Like, if we, at the end of the week, say Monday came around, none of us watched the game, and we just woke up the Monday morning and we were like, we lost to the Bills. Nobody was like, oh wow, I can't believe we lost to the Bills, right? It's not like if you're the Bengals right now, right, who are going to wake up tomorrow saying, I can't believe I just lost to the Jets, right? And so it's not the same situation. So if we had woke up tomorrow, we heard we lost to the Bills, we're like, yeah, that's logical. That makes sense. Nobody was, but what we were hoping was not going to happen was that we were going to have to wake up saying, we lost to the Bills by over 30 points. Yeah, that's the part. We gave the Bills career numbers that they haven't seen in over a decade to 2 decades.
Yeah,
we let the Bills come in.
Literally, OJ Simpson was their running back, dude. God, just embarrassing. CK, look, let's hear from these fans. The number is 252-228-5090. We already have a ton of calls to get through. Let your voice be heard on the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet. Let's roll.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Yeah, fuck you and fuck the Panthers.
That was it.
What did we do? What did we do, man? We're out here providing therapy sessions to Panther fans, and it's fuck us. Come on, bro. But yeah, I get you mad, dude. You're mad at the Panthers, not us. We forgive you.
Yo, what up, C3? This is Grant out here in Raleigh, North Carolina. First time caller. Just want to say, absolutely livid currently with the state of the game. It's about 6 minutes left in the second quarter, and Dave Canales cannot get out of his own fucking way. I mean, what the fuck are we doing? Rico Dowdle clearly is the number one back. I'm a Chuba fan. I like Chuba. But you can't sit here and tell me the offense doesn't run better. Chuba's out. I mean, Rico is out here banging 6-yard runs down their throat. That's how you beat the Bills, is keep that ball out of their hands. Run it down their damn throat. And another reason we can win is keep it out of Andy Dalton's hands. And Dave Canales, for some reason, is the epitome of overthinking in this game currently. Get it out of Dalton's hands. Get it to the playmakers and let them do something. Not Andy Dalton scrambling and getting tackled for a fumble in the red zone on the first drive. The defense held Bills through 2 field goals. That's how you're going to win. Not Andy Dalton dropping back and throwing the ball. That's not who we are right now. We got to run the ball. And hopefully this kind of ages well, and maybe we correct some things in the second half. I appreciate you taking my call. We'll see how it goes in the second half. Later.
Oh no, I feel so bad for what his. Oh my gosh, it's so weird having the people call at the first half.
Yeah,
because like you get to travel back in time to a moment to where there's just like this. There's either this overreaction or this over optimism. Like we can turn it around here. We got this. Like hopefully the Panthers will do something. And we all know what happened. And I feel so sad, even though it's already happened. I feel sad for what that second half brought to his mind. And maybe he calls back in to give his second half thoughts. But oh man, this game,
dude, it was a rough one. And by the way, to Jameson Smith in the chat, buddy, I'm just gonna say this once: if you don't have anything nice to say about any of us doing the podcast, don't say anything at all, man. Keep it Panthers football. And you can stay in the chat. But if you're going to continue to be a dick, I'm going to ban you. And I promise. Next call.
Hey, this is my first time calling. And I'm calling right at halftime. I'm sorry. Andy Dalton is not fucking good. I'm sorry. He has quite literally turned this game on its head. Like, the fumble that could have been a touchdown with how good Rico was doing on that drive, and then to blatantly throw the ball into the defender's hands for almost a pick six, which ended up being a touchdown anyways. I mean, these are just boneheaded fucking plays, man. Like, you can't do that, especially with fucking 2 minutes left in the game.
Play calling took a major step back.
I'm so done with this stupid pump faking shit, dude. It's so stupid. Like, no one's falling for it. And every time he does it, he gets fucking sacked. It's stupid. And it's like so retarded. And I'm not gonna lie, I think Hendon Hooker would probably be better than fucking Andy Dalton right now. Honestly. Yeah. Like, this Andy Dalton that we're getting is like after the Raiders game last year, where he was just complete, like, mid or ass for like the past few weeks after that. Like, it's insane. It's actually insane. I hope that we can turn it around, but I mean, we're down 16 at halftime. I don't see us winning. I mean, to be fair, I didn't see us winning this at the beginning of the year, but I thought we'd at least have a chance with how good our rushing defense was, but that's being exposed too. I mean, are you kidding me? 160 plus yards in the first half? When we averaged only allowing 44 yards in the last 3 games. And it's not like it's not like we're against like trash running backs. I mean, we're facing like some pretty good running backs. I mean, we face, Breece Hall, Devon Achane, and Javonte Williams, who've all been good or have been good. And now our defense just looks like the defense of old. Like literally looks like last year's defense with us just allowing all these fucking rushing yards. And I wouldn't be surprised if we allow, almost 300 rushing yards since we already given up 160 plus already.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I really hope that this comes to bite me in the ass and we come back somehow, because I know we're usually a second half team, but I mean, this first half showing has been so disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
It has been it just hurts, man, especially with how, the main thing that hurts is how good we've been in the run game, defending the run, and just being absolutely just destroyed by James Cook. It sucks. Because, even with Bijan Robinson at home, we only let him rush for, 70-something yards. So, because in my opinion, Bijan's definitely better than James Cook.
You wouldn't tell by their performance against us. That's for damn sure. CK, the play calling also took a step back. He literally had Rico and Chuba in the wildcat position early in the first half, dude. When you see that your quarterback is struggling the way Andy is, to not make any adjustments, it really shows you that Dave Canales is still really green behind the ears, man. There was no real adjustments. There was no switching up what you were doing. There's still this refusal to lean on Rico, which to me is probably just because they like Chuba so much as a player, as a person, what he has meant for this team. But it's gotten to a point where if you refuse to feed Rico like that, then now you're doing it at the behest or you're doing it against your own team. You're cutting off your nose to spite your face, man.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think, one of the things also, and I'll say this, I'm not convinced that many of those plays that we had where Andy Dalton, it dropped back, there were multiple times where he was calling an audible at the line of scrimmage. I'm not convinced entirely that he didn't go up to the line of scrimmage and audible out of running plays because he thought he was going to be able to get the ball down the field or something, right? I attribute I'm going to say there is equally in my mind the play calling is equally on Andy Dalton as much as it is Dave Canales with regard to this game and how bad this performance was on this offense. I still think that we're back in elementary school with it. You get a rep and then nobody gets to sit on. Everybody gets an opportunity to play football in a rec league. This is going back to rec, little league type stuff. We're gonna let everybody try to get a play in, so that way they can say that they got their money's worth. Well, here's the deal. It's the Panthers' money that's on the line here, and I don't care who is in there. If the person is performing better, I don't care how much the person on the bench is getting paid. And I think that at the end of the day, Dave Canales needs to take ownership of that and stop this elementary school way of trying to approach the game because it's so predictable now, and that's a problem.
It is. By the way, Sheena Quick says Canales says that Bryce Young was pretty close to being active today and that the training staff will continue to evaluate him. I don't know, man, dude. It makes me even hesitant knowing the teams that we're going to face going forward, having backup O-linemen. Yeah, this is going to be tough. Next call.
Hey, sorry, I got cut off there. Just last final thoughts. I really hope that we can turn this around, and I hope that we can somehow pull this out for a win. But I don't have a lot of hope right now. And honestly, I'd be more interested to see what Hendon Hooker can do in a backup role to Bryce when Bryce does come back, hopefully next week. But yeah, just let me know what y'all think. I'm really hoping that we can somehow pull this out of our ass like the Dolphins game. But yeah, keep pounding, and y'all have a good one.
Keep pounding, brother. We appreciate your call, man. Yeah, that didn't happen. And I think that you are not alone. And there are a lot of people who want to know that Hendon Hooker is the next man up as opposed to Andy Dalton. That's enough to end your career, man. Sorry, it just is. All right, next call.
What's up, guys? This is Chase Madison. It's halftime. So the 3 good games by the defense had you fooled about Ebro, didn't it? Didn't it? Huh? Think 3 games compared to seasons worth of absolute garbage defense is going to make anybody change their mind? No, not me. Ebro's all horrible, and you don't make any kind of in-game changes, so you know it's just going to get worse even second half.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton's his ass, man. I thought I'd seen reports of Bryce practicing and running at practice, so if he was good to go, why is it?
He was.
I don't understand it. And Canales, man, just switching back to Rico and Chuba, come on, man. That's got to stop. Just put Rico in so we have a chance, because Andy Dalton ain't it, and the defense is sucking ass. Yet again. Evero, 3 good games is not going to get you out of the hot seat for me, buddy. He's got to go.
Yeah, dude, this has us reevaluating everything that we thought we were looking at. I was pretty much indifferent before, but I don't know. I don't think that this current defensive situation, minus the players, I think the formations and the things that we do on defense, they're just, it's not enough, man. It's not enough, and I think that we are going to make changes. Let's take another call.
What's up, guys?
Nope.
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. Hey Bryce haters, you happy now? I'm sure not. I never really was a Bryce hater. I was just, I guess I just swung with the pendulum. I'm like, Bryce, you need to play better when he was playing like absolute garbage. Hey Bryce, you're actually really freaking good. Like, keep that up when he's really freaking good. But Andy Dalton is 37 years old, and he's playing like it today. So, yeah, no bueno. I'm not a big fan of what you've got going on at the backup quarterback position. I always said we need to go get a guy like Jameis Winston who's not afraid to sling it.
Yep.
And I think I've been proven right today. So, yeah, dude, let's go get Jameis Winston, who the Giants aren't using. And for those of y'all who keep calling for Andy Dalton whenever Bryce, has a bad play, this is what you were calling for? Seriously? Like, y'all need to grow up, man, with that Bryce hate. Y'all need to learn how to, and I'm not trying to tell y'all how to fan, well, I kind of am, but anyway, y'all need to learn how to accept when a quarterback you didn't believe in, or when any player you didn't believe in is improving. If I could see that, I know you could. Anyway, guys.
Yeah, listen, one of the things I said about this game was that if Andy Dalton does go out there and play abysmal, at least it lets absolutely everyone know, if you love Bryce or hate Bryce, we do not have any better options than him.
Right.
Let alone a 40, he's not even 40, he's like 37-year-old Andy Dalton. We know that he is decidedly not the answer. And by the way, I never wanted Andy over Bryce. I just thought that Andy could at least be serviceable like he has in the past, which I wasn't alone in that. But CK, before we go on and play some more of these calls, I wanted to play this real quick. Just to, if you weren't mad enough, if you weren't furious enough, let's make you even more upset.
Like today happens where it's kind of hard getting that run game established. Did you consider at any point deviating from the plan to alternate the series with Chuba and Rico?
No, like the plan, just looking for execution, and we have to be able to be balanced, with the pass game in those situations, and the turnovers really just got us out of our rhythm and, put us in a different mode. Dave, at the end of the game.
So basically, it was a failure of execution, and they're going to continue to alternate between Rico and Chuba.
I just don't think that he's going to get back to the drawing board and say what he saw today warrants that reaction. I think there's no way he's going to look at the tape and think, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna continue to split the reps and actually give more carries to Chuba Hubbard, who all season has not shown near the same level of explosiveness that Rico Dowdle has. Right? That's just an absolute ridiculous, and the idea that we got out of our rhythm, and so that's why we weren't able to execute. There is no you might get the occasional football game where things go your way and you can keep that rhythm going. But if last week and this week are any indication, we cannot rely on rhythm and being the only reason we be successful in that type of situation. You have to be able to, in the moment, make a decision as a coach to change your game plan. That is the whole point about halftime and going in and coming out and adjusting the way you've handled things. And instead, we still do the same AB thing. Like, it's just such a stupid thought. Like, I have been as optimistic as I can be on Dave Canales this season, right? And I'll call out the BS and I'll call out everything, right? But at the end of the day, I was optimistic this dude was going to be able to do something special with this offense. The way he's handling this run game after having 2 weeks of back-to-back Rico Dowdle incredible games in the past 2 weeks, our rushing attack has been abysmal against one of the worst rushing attacks today in the entire NFL. If we can't get a rhythm going, the rhythm comes from letting the best running back get more touches. That is how rhythm happens. That is how when you're talking about an offensive line, and I may be wrong on this, but an offensive line is going to learn tendencies of each running back, right? And they're gonna say, well, I know Rico's patient, so he's gonna allow me to get this block, or he's gonna see that he's gonna cut up field, and so I need to know that I need to let go of my defender if there's, in fact, he starts moving the other direction, because it's very likely Rico's moving that way, just because we're getting the ability to be able to understand what our running back is doing. Same thing with them understanding their quarterback. And to have Dave Canales' approach for 2 weeks in a row, and they both fail, and your answer to this is, oh, it's still the plan. We're still going to run. This is how we just didn't execute it. Maybe it's because it's not an executable plan that's going to work.
Yeah, and I also said this during the game. I felt like the offensive line was blocking better for Rico Dowdle than they were Chuba. Like, I almost feel bad for Chuba because there's no push when he does get the ball. But then when Rico gets the ball, here's these big holes that they can open up. However, he does have that ability to make something out of nothing that I have not seen from Chuba Hubbard this year. I have seen it in the past, but not to the degree that we've seen from Rico. It's going to take some real alterations to what we're doing if we're going to get back on track. Shout out to Stonewall. We are 4-4. We're 500. We have a bunch of really tough teams out ahead of us, but everything we want is still out in front of us. We just have to see how we respond to these injuries and what happens from here on out. Let's take another call.
Hey, I never said my name. My name's Sean, but I called in before 2 times, I think.
What up, Sean?
Andy Dalton just fucking fumbled the ball again on the first play of this drive. Third quarter, it's about 4 minutes or so, 4.5 minutes. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna lie. This feels like intentional sabotage. Like, you're telling me he's turned the ball over this many times and so blatantly? Like, okay, I'm not much to be a conspiracy theorist, but like, if y'all know the stuff with the Charlotte Hornets with Terry Rozier and the stuff with him, like with the sports betting and all that, you might need to investigate Andy Dalton too, because this is actually insane. Like, okay, maybe the first fumble he had, okay, that's whatever. But the interception, like, you literally threw it to the guy. And then this time, like, it's just so absurd. Like, this can't
call the
be,
FBI.
Like, unintentional. I just can't accept that. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And now Buffalo has the ball, and they're literally on our 3-yard line, and they're probably going to score again, and then it's probably going to be 40-3, and God, this is like, I'm not going to lie, like, okay, the defense has been absolute ass, like last year kind of ass. But I'll be honest, if Bryce Young starts this game, I don't think
Send it to
gets
me,
this
Pickle.
bad. Like, we have to take into account for
Treasure.
the defense, like, how many times we've given the ball over. And to be fair, it's not like the defense would have been perfect. I mean, you don't just give up 200-plus rushing yards to running back and that not be, like, most of your fault. Like, you can't just do that. But, I mean, with Bryce Young, I mean, he would have avoided, like, at least 3 of those 4 sacks that Andy Dalton has had. Like, easily, in my opinion. And it's just been absurd. It's actually been absurd. And, like, it's just horrible, man. I'm accepting the fact that we're going to be 4-4, but, I mean, the good news is Atlanta's getting whooped by the Dolphins, so I feel better about that. But other than that, it's just absurd, man. Like, it's just horrible. Looks like, I think Bills just scored or close to, probably going to score here soon. But the good news.
Oh, he got cut off. I mean, dude, there's so much. Great call, by the way. We appreciate your phone call. This defense, it just took such a step back that it's hard for me to even put into words. Like I went into this game being excited about what we had the potential to do. But then Andy Dalton, and by the way, kudos to Andy in his press conference. He was saying that, that this one was on him, that he did not give the team a chance to win. But now you have a Kim Kwana who's saying that the Bills knew what we were going to do, which is also sort of weird. And now we have this crazy scene at the end of the Bills and Panthers. Dion talked to Dion Dawkins on the field, asked him why emotions were so high between him and Ashawn Robinson. Dawkins looked up at the scoreboard and said 4-9, says he was trying to shake hands post-game, then chaos. Oh, shit.
Get off me. No, it's me. Get off me. It's me. Get off me.
Yo, look at Derek Brown. I said, yo, it's me. It's me. Fuck that, bro. Let's go. Bro, I'm going to be real, though. When you get your ass kicked like that, you shake your hand and you move on, bro. Like, that doesn't look good right there. Where was that fight in the middle of the game? Where was that? We needed that then. I mean, look, shout out to Ashawn Robinson for caring enough, but where was that injury when it mattered? That energy when it mattered the most? I don't know, man.
It is. Listen, it's going to happen, and the Bills got the best of us today, right? Like they came in, they were coming off of a bye week. Jake Delhomme was talking about it on the radio broadcast for the Panthers. Like you can see the difference in a team that just came off their bye, well rested, James Cook well rested, things like that, right? And this is a good offense already. Let them have a week off. That's why they're 8-0 up until this week. Now they're 9-0 coming off the bye week. Like when you're talking about good offenses and defenses that have been struggling, like rest is important. Now, it doesn't mean that every team is going to come off of a bye, but when you have a good team, they're going to come off of the bye and they're going to be absolutely this is what you're going to get, especially when you're coming to play in a team that's above average or below average, right? Like the Panthers are. It's going to happen. And, we've got to take our licks. We got to move on and try to put it behind us and see what next week brings. The only thing, the most painful part about this is going to be the injuries. Like the losing Brady Christensen is devastating to this offense. I know people are going to say that that's not that big of a deal, but it's massive. When you're talking about your Swiss Army knife that can move to any position, let's say
absolutely,
anything. Like there's so many things that went wrong, and that at this point in time, we don't know the extent of Cade Mays. We don't know the extent of Taylor Moton. We know that Jimmy Horn went down with a shoulder injury, and maybe he came back, I think. But, I think somebody said J.C. Horn went down at one point in the game. Derek Brown had a small knee injury. We have Trevin Wallace, who went in for concussion protocol. He didn't have a concussion, but he did get a shoulder injury as well, which is why he didn't come back into the game. Like, we came out of this with injuries, right? Injuries. And that is a problem, especially when we don't have a bye week until late December or early December, I think.
So shout out to the boy White Chocolate Espresso, newly married White Chocolate Espresso. Congrats, brother. Says all them injuries. Hey, Tepper, real grass. Bro, these are not going to go away. You're going to continue to hear people continue to be very loud about us getting rid of this turf, man. I mean, it seems like every week we're dealing with something. Let me see if I play this.
Hey, I never said my name.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Sorry, I lied. That was not my last call because I got cut off. But yeah, I'm just final thoughts. I'm not totally like down on this team again like I was in the first few weeks.
Appreciate you, Stonewall.
I mean, just the impact Bryce Young has is so evident. Like, it's actually so evident, it's absurd. But yeah, I'm just hoping we could see Hendon Hooker, see what he can do, possibly be a backup for the future.
Good point, Pickle.
And yeah, just let me know what y'all think, and yeah, I'll leave you to it.
Yeah, shout out to Pickle. It says Wallace has been talking to Shaq every single week, and Shaq has been watching film of the Panthers every single week to help Wallace learn to be a better linebacker. Yeah, there was a lot of people. Who were connected to this organization that are with the Bills now at different times and different regimes. But I mean, dude, it's I don't know. We'll have to see. It just seems to think that they knew what plays we were calling. But all right, let's take another one. We still got.
But Icky seems to think that they knew.
Yeah, Icky said in a post interview that they knew what we were doing before we were going to do it. I don't know.
Sorry, I lied. That was not my last call.
No, I heard that. Sorry.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Forest City.
What up,
Listen,
Lou?
y'all, I'm not the biggest Bryce fan, but I sure did miss him today. Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Keep pounding, bro. I kind of think we all did, man. Hang on. All right, let's.
What's up, y'all?
Beginning of the fourth quarter, and it's 40-3. Hey, y'all, it's the Hope Dealer checking in.
Dealer, what's up, bro?
You know, the smartest decision I made this whole week was when I went on Ticketmaster and I looked up those tickets, and they were $175 a pop. And I talked to my wife. I looked at her. I said, honey, we're 4-3. You wanna go for it? And she said, nah, I don't trust this team. Man, my wife is so wise. I'm so glad I didn't spend over $300 to watch this in person. This is embarrassing, man. Andy Dalton is cooked. He looks so bad out there. Chuba Hubbard, he looks bad. The defense looks awful. And I told y'all, Buffalo, they have a winning pedigree. Yeah, I know the whole thing. We shut Atlanta out and Atlanta beat Buffalo, but, when you got a winning pedigree, I told y'all the reason that I predicted Carolina to lose this game was I did not think that Dave Canales could outcoach Sean McDermott. And you know what? Not only was I right, but, man, the talent just doesn't look to match up. It's bad. It's the Hope Dealer. Love y'all. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, bro. Appreciate you, man. CK, let's move on. We got a good bit of calls.
Yo, what's up, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys having a good
What up, Ant?
Sunday, man. Embarrassing loss today. Went to the game. Calling in early fourth quarter. We just scored it 40-10, but man, embarrassing loss today. T-Mac had a great game. over 100 yards. Andy Dalton is fucking horrible, though. Horrible. Horrible that this momentum had to be ruined. Now, I'm not saying the game wouldn't have been any different, but he had 3 turnovers in our opposing territory. It was bad. The team came out sloppy, and we got ran all over. So I think this is a reality check for the team. We got Green Bay next week, and we still have yet to beat a winning opponent in like 3 years. So this is tough. At least the Falcons got blown out too today. So we're still second in the division, but definitely embarrassing. I'll talk to y'all boys later. Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
Yeah, looking at the glass half full, Atlanta did lose. We're 4-4. It's not the worst record to have, but we're gonna have to prove ourselves down the stretch. And I'm hoping that a lot of these injuries aren't going to end up being that serious. Let's take another call.
Podcast Brothers, G. Cavassier.
What up, G?
Man, I'm glad this game is over. What a fucking ass whipping. How the hell we lose by 31 points? Horrible, horrible. And please get Andy Dalton the fuck out of Carolina as soon as possible.
Agreed,
he
man.
played horribly, man.
Let's see what we have in Hendon Hooker.
You might as well put that young boy. What's that dude's name from Tennessee?
Hendon Hooker, I agree, bro.
Advance him to the backup quarterback and tell Andy Dalton, like, make him a third string, man. He played fucking horrible. And our run defense did not show up today at all, man. They looked cooked one for 200 fucking rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. I was like, where in the hell was that run defense at, man? Like I told you before, get Double E the fuck out of Carolina as defensive coordinator. He fucking sucks, man. He sucks. And all these damn injuries, y'all seen the shit. Brady Christensen, he went out. Taylor Moton, he was out. Trevor Wallace, he was out. Towards the end of the game, Derek Brown messed up his daggone knee. I'm like, come on, man. We got Green Bay next week, man. We got Green Bay next week. And I don't give a damn what none of you Bryce Young haters say. This team believes in Bryce Young. Because me personally, I think we would have won this shit if Bryce was fucking healthy, would have been playing. My opinion, you know. But give me your thoughts on that, y'all. We 4-4, but you know what? We still the best team in the goddamn South. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. I do think that if Bryce is in the game, it's a much more competitive game. I think he probably hit some of those throws that Andy didn't. But I don't think that we're stopping James Cook for rushing for 216 yards. That doesn't seem reasonable to me, man. I think today we got a wake-up call on what this defense is actually capable of when it comes to playing really good teams.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. I just don't think that it would have changed things that much. It's not like we haven't seen this team get destroyed when Bryce was on the field. Like we saw the Patriots game, you know? So.
Yeah, no, listen, I don't know that the outcome changes, but I do think that this team looks different with Bryce Young under the helm, under center. I think that we're dropping 30 on this team? No, I don't think so. But I do believe wholeheartedly that this is a much, much more competitive game. And I don't think we feel nearly as bad as we do right now if Bryce Young's in there. Do I think that he does he has some turnovers, some fumbles and things like that? Sure. I think a lot of those fumbles we had today were directly associated with the fact that Andy Dalton cannot escape the pocket with any elusiveness whatsoever. Right. And I think that there are plenty of throws that were left out there that we've seen Bryce Young make. We've also seen a lot of those throws that Andy Dalton didn't make. Bryce Young overthrow or underthrow. Right. I feel like the eye test tells me that Andy Dalton is not a quarterback that needs to be in the NFL right now. Like we haven't seen it. And if they go into next week with him still being the backup and not letting Hendon Hooker take the reins, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. We owe Andy Dalton nothing. Yeah. Right? We owe him nothing. He is a quarterback that's been here now for the 3rd year with Bryce Young. And outside of cohesiveness in the quarterback room, there's no reason to maintain him because we have seen here's the thing. If we had seen Andy Dalton in the preseason and he was like, you know what? He was he looked
terrible in the remember that one play where he pump faked and then
just
slipped and fell and then just fell down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't looked good at all outside of one game last year. And that, like, outside of that, like, it's been god awful. And he's a backup. He's not supposed to be a great quarterback in the league. I'm aware of that. Like, it's not lost on me that he's not supposed to be the guy. And there should be a difference between him and our starting quarterback. There should be a tangible difference. Otherwise, what's the point, right? What's the point of having a starting quarterback if he is not head and shoulders above your backup?
Yeah.
I just don't think that Andy Dalton showed us anything that Hendon Hooker couldn't have shown us. And I would rather Hendon Hooker get the experience over Andy Dalton.
And listen, even still, to me, if Dalton's playing that trash, run the football. Like Canales said before this season and last season that we are going to be a stubborn rushing football team, that we're going to run the football. Even if it isn't working, we're going to continue to pound the rock. And it just seems like Canales will move away from the run. Not only will he move away from it very easily, but he'll do it at the worst times.
Yeah.
The worst times. Let's take another call.
Andy Dalton is the steady-handed veteran. He's savvy. He knows what he's going to be looking at. Yeah. It didn't look like he knew what the fuck he was looking at all game. What are we even talking about? Everybody who said that Andy Dalton gave us a better chance to win this game deserves to be castrated, crucified, and vilified. Because it's all fucking wrong. It's all ass. And everybody who said anything even close to that extent deserves to burn in hell for an eternity. I heard it all this week. Because, yeah, I'm Josh from Mass, but I listen to WFNZ. I listen to all this shit. I listen to every podcast I can get my fucking dumbass hands on. And that's what I feel like today. A dumbass. Because I thought for maybe 5 seconds that the savvy veteran could fucking get the job done. No. He looked like Kyle Allen after 5 fucking games. Remember that? Kyle Allen is the future. No. The man is hot, baked, easy oven ass. The fuck were y'all even talking about? And I know there was some people who called in and go, well, Andy Dalton, he got a bigger arm. He got this, he got that. No, Andy Dalton is like a cold fucking shower after a really good first date. Fucking disappointing. That's that whole game. And he goes, well, the defense didn't have to let up all them points. Well, it's kind of hard when they're on the fucking field for the whole fucking game. This shit's not complicated. I saw it coming. I'm over it. Fucking fire that motherfucker into the sun, and let's never see his gingerhead bullshitting ass again in Carolina. We were even wearing the right uniforms.
Yeah.
And then, we gotta, Dave Canals, it's gonna be the Chuba missile crisis. Fuck that. Let's catch a fucking RICO charge. Fuck the missiles. Fuck Chuba Hubbard. Send him back to Canada. The boy can't run the same way that fucking Donald can. It's not even close. It's like one's a number and one's a letter. One's in the alphabet and one is some made up shit. Figure it the fuck out, Dave. I'm almost out of time. I got like fucking what? I got some time. I got some more time to talk unless y'all cut me off. But I knew it. I knew it coming into this. I was like, if Bryce can run the bootleg, Andy Dalton cannot. The bootleg, the play action, it's part of this fucking offense. It's how things fucking work. And I knew it was going to be missing. And god damn.
Cut them all. Hey, too much blasphemy. Cut you off right in the middle of a GD. Look, man, I get that you're mad. Look, and how many people were saying that Andy would do better and needs to be the starting quarterback over Bryce going forward versus people who just weren't concerned and thought that he could do enough to win when you saw what he's been able to do in the past. That was me. I was wrong. Clearly, I was wrong. Andy Dalton has regressed terribly to the point where you cannot depend on him even to be a backup, even for a couple of drives at this point.
Yeah. No, it was abundantly clear that I felt like it's been this way since last year, that we should have come into this year with a different plan at the backup position. We didn't. We are essentially rolling the dice and wanting to keep Andy in there just for the consistency of an offense. But I think if by the end of the week, if they haven't made the decision to at least, even if they were to move, keep Hendon Hooker on the active roster and move Andy Dalton to a practice squad position or something, that like the worst thing happened today that could have happened. Right. I think that if I was the Bengals, before I was calling to try to get Joe Flacco, which by the way has worked out wonderfully for them, I would have made a call to the Panthers and say, hey, listen, can we get Andy Dalton back up here? Get another feel good story for the Bengals and, let them get the red rifle.
Did they win today? Did the Bengals win?
They lost to the Jets.
Wow.
They lost to the Jets. The Jets, by the way, they lost to the Jets. You know what the score was, Cody?
What?
You have a guess?
14-17.
39-38.
What?
Yes.
Yo, where did that offense come? Who started for the Jets?
Justin Fields.
Damn.
Yeah.
Maybe all it took was the owner.
Breece Hall went off. Like it was a crazy day. But it was, I think it was, anyway, it was what it is. I think having Andy Dalton start today was the worst possible outcome because nobody is trading any assets for Andy Dalton. Like nobody.
No
like
one.
it's nobody wants, nobody want him on their team. I listen, I think I like Andy Dalton. Here's my worry. I looked at this game today. I don't know if you guys remember. The Bills were in an incredible playoff drought, like 1 decade in the making, right? And they were in the running a few years back, their first time getting with a chance to get to the playoffs in decades. And they did everything they could. They had to get some help to make it to the playoffs. And the help that they needed was a Bengals win over, it might have been over the Ravens. And if they beat the Ravens, I think it might have been the Steelers. If they beat them, the Bills were going to the playoffs. Well, the Bengals, led by Andy Dalton, won, and Andy Dalton's all his charity that he had, his organization, the Bills, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why they gave him like a standing ovation that one game, right?
Yeah, gave him a standing ovation in preseason. Like the Bills love Andy Dalton, absolutely love Andy Dalton. And here it is, Bill, Andy Dalton trying to give them some more things to love him for. It was quite hysterical. And I really think it's interesting, the thing you're talking about with Icky. Do I think there's unsportsmanship going on? I don't know. I don't think so. I would like to think that Shaq Thompson isn't going to let that type of stuff slide when it comes to the Panthers. But at the same time, I don't know what goes on behind the scenes with this stuff. I don't know how we know or how we don't know, if they somehow know what plays we're calling and how they know those things. I don't know, but it's certainly worthy of a conversation because literally a week ago, people were saying how unpredictable our offense was when it comes to being able to figure out what we're calling. And then we go from 1 week to how unpredictable it is to, Ike Ekwonu talking about how it felt like everything we called, they knew what we were going to be doing. That seems kind of interesting.
I don't know. And dude, real quick, shout out to Sean Kula in the chat. He's our resident Bills fan, but he's always cool. He's followed C3 for a long time. Shout out, Sean. Congratulations, bro. Hope y'all go all the way this year, man. Y'all deserve it. Want to see Josh Allen and that team and Sean McDermott and get them one, dude. Shaq Thompson, too. Fuck it. Since y'all all got them all anyway, why not? One more thing. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss this. Earlier on, Vegas Panthers Drew donated. Said Dalton did his best Bryce impression with a pick and a fumble in the first half. Just wish you would commit to the run against the good teams with the backup quarterback. I don't know why we didn't just insistently press the run. I don't know.
That part, you have a backup quarterback in there. Like there should have been a 75-25% split when it comes to the run game. The run game should have been 75%. We only ran it 20 times. Like that's crazy to me. Like, how many times did we drop back? How many plays did we run? I'm curious. Hold on, give me 2 seconds here. Andy Dalton had 24 pass attempts, and we only had 20 rushes. Well, I guess 24 Jimmy Horns counted for. So we had 26, which it was about a 50-50 split with passing to running. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Next call. We're getting closer to the end.
What's up, C3? It's Kyle from Spartanburg.
Wow,
Dang,
Kyle.
man. I mean, another loss on the season. I'm sure y'all have gone through all the plays and everything, but the thing that gets me the most is just those dang injuries, man. 3 offensive linemen go down. Christensen has a ruptured Achilles, so he's gone. So if Bryce Young comes back next week, he's going to be playing behind Austin Corbett, who I don't think any of us like. Ike Ekwonu and 3 backup to the backups. I mean, Micah Parsons going to feast next week. I mean, it's just a rough reality of that situation. And then just these politics of the NFL are getting annoying. Like, you know, we're giving Chuba carries because he got paid, even though Rico is showing week in and week out that he's the better back. But Chuba, runs for 12 carries today, and Rico only gets 8, but Rico has like 30 more yards. It just makes no sense to me, man. I mean, we're playing like we're not serious. You know, the team's playing like they don't want to win. I mean, you know, Coach Canales has an idea in his head, and he never wants to get away from it. But, you know, maybe next week we can beat the Packers, but I don't have the crazy amount of confidence. But, all right, C3, man, I hope you all have a good rest of your show.
Kyle, keep pounding, brother. Appreciate you, man. Let's go to the next one. I feel like I always have something I want to say, but I'm just at a loss for words. Like, I wasn't expecting this. I know it was the Buffalo Bills. I know they're a good team, but I just was not expecting this. And you're right, man. The politics of it is preventing us from establishing the run with Rico. It's not acceptable.
Hey, guys. Chuck from Elizabeth City.
What up, Chuck?
Not too much to say about today's game because the run defense didn't look good. I know Buffalo was well rested, but I tell you one thing. For all you Bryce Young haters out there, and I know at times he's been bad, but Andy Dalton, the people that love to hug Andy Dalton's nutsack with a red rifle, y'all can take that little BB gun and shove it up your ass because he looked pathetic. Man, he cost us at least a field goal on one drive. Piss poor taking a sack at the end of the half, which could at least got a field goal if you couldn't get the ball away. His boneheaded interception gave them a touchdown. Yeah, we probably would have lost today. But instead of 40-9, maybe we would have lost something like, I don't know, 32-16 or something. I don't know. It's just, he's not the answer. And as bad as we got to play Green Bay next week in Green Bay, I just put Bryce back in the game, man. This guy does not have the mobility to play. I said it last week against the Jets. We had a field goal opportunity with him in the game and go up 16-6 with a little time left. A dumbass takes a sack. And we end up
the sacks were so stupid, man.
If we'd been playing a better team, that could have been.
But he can't do anything else.
So I'm just saying, Andy Dalton, best thing him to do, sit on the bench. The year's over. Go ahead and file for retirement. It's pitiful.
Yeah, I mean, the dude is a statue inside the pocket. Like, he can't avoid a sack to save his life. And then the ones that he did take were just the worst time sacks, man. Like, places where you could not take a sack, and he did. Just all bad, man. It really does make me wonder what plan they're going to try to have going forward in the event Bryce can't go. Like, are they just going to let Andy stroll back out there and hope that he performs better than he did today? I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, it's going to be a direct. It's going to be one of the most egregious things that I will say that this coaching staff does as they move forward, keeping Andy Dalton at the helm. Even if which I think we all agree Bryce Young is going to be back next week, barring some crazy setback that we can't
Dude,
foresee right
his
now.
leg could be falling off of the bone.
Yeah,
they're
like
going to play Bryce Young.
yeah. But if they have an inactives and it includes anybody other than Andy Dalton, like as a quarterback, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like I almost understand them holding on to 3 just to let like Hendon Hooker and Andy Dalton compete for the backup position. But never have I seen a backup quarterback play themselves out of a backup role so quickly. Like it's just one game, and this dude is just like, yeah, everybody in the fan base who last year would have said, oh, well, Andy Dalton, he's a serviceable backup, maybe one of the better backups we're going to have in the league. To now, I think any person we trade for, we're thinking is an immediate upgrade over Andy Dalton.
Yeah. Yeah. You won't get pushed back there. Let's run through. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 10 calls.
Hey. You know who
Oh,
the fuck
shit.
It is.
Can we skip this one?
What's Gucci with my boys? What's Gucci with your Kodak? What's Gucci with your CK? And what's Gucci with my white Italian brother? Let's get into it. I fully expect Bryce Young to get extended this offseason. The Peppers just seen what life is like without Bryce Young.
Yep.
This game was atrocious. It was horrendous. It was fucking pathetic. It was sad. This game, we inquired a lot of injuries as well on the offensive line. This game fucked us up, man. Damn, that shit is... All I want to hear is fucking grace for fucking King Bryce. I mean, it's just a goddamn shame that there were really people out here guaranteeing that Andy Dalton was going to just provide, just do shit that Bryce couldn't do, as I guess they would say. But, yeah, I guess y'all look like a bunch of dummies, a bunch of fucking morons, a bunch of fucking just pure Bryce haters, not even just being a Carolina Panther fan, just hating on Bryce Young for whatever reason. I don't know what the fuck Bryce Young did to you guys, but, and fuck Andy Dalton. Fuck Andy Dalton. Like I said last week, he should retire. They need to get him the fuck out of Carolina. Same with Chuba the hype man. He needs to get the fuck out of Carolina. Hunter Renfrow getting paid for a fucking feel-good story and still on the fucking roster, but not even dressing for these games because he shouldn't be fucking on the roster in the first place. Like, these are mistakes that we need to wipe clean from fucking Carolina immediately. Nick Scott still getting his fucking ass beat. Fucking Mike Jackson still being a hoe on the defensive side of the fucking ball. Charles Smith-Wade needs to fucking play better. But I can't even really put this on the defense because Andy Dalton just put us in the worst possible fucking positions just ever. Like, there's no way in hell you can fucking win football games like this. This is going to be a one-call thing because we all seen what the fuck is going on. We need King Bryce back. Like I said, he will be extended, and it's best to extend him now just so we can get, extend him for a little bit cheaper than, what we'll pay if we continue to wait. So, and fuck a 5th-year option. I don't know why y'all keep bringing that up, but y'all know who the fuck this is. This is G-Baby, and I'm out.
He said fuck a 5th-year option. Does that mean you don't think we're going to pick up the 5th-year option? Because if you think that they're going to pay Bryce Young after this season, like, hey, maybe they will, but you're still going to need some really good performances from Bryce.
Yeah, you're going to need
to start paying him more money.
You're going to need to see Bryce Young win the games that we're supposed to win and win the games we're not supposed to win. Like, that's why a game like this was so important, right? If we can go tit for tat with them, regardless of what our defense was doing, then a lot of questions were going to be answered with regard to Bryce, right? He does have an opportunity next week because if we weren't able to stop James Cook, I'm not sure that I'm confident we're going to be able to stop Josh Jacobs for the Packers, especially in Wisconsin. In Green Bay, we're going to have an opportunity to see Bryce Young do what he did in his rookie season, go into Green Bay or go up against Green Bay and put up some really important numbers. If that happens, then I think that answers a lot of questions. But we're going to need multiple games of like that for us to right now. Like, and this is me. I love Bryce Young. I think that he's gonna if he doesn't stay here, I think he's gonna go somewhere else, get an opportunity with a team that's competent, and he is going to show out just like we're seeing Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield do. Right? I think he's going to be at the same level of those guys. I don't know, but I think we're going to be sitting there with crow in our face again, because I don't think that he was drafted in the first. If we didn't draft him, everybody wants to talk about CJ Stroud. If we didn't draft him, the Texans were going to draft him. Like, let's not get it twisted. It wasn't as though people thought that he was a bad quarterback. Like, most people thought he was, and I think that is something that's going to eventually come into play if he does end up leaving the Panthers. So I do think that there's some hope for him, but he has not shown it in a substantial way with us yet to where it's worthy of a fifth year option, and especially not an extended contract. Like, unless he's like signing for like a really like team friendly deal, and it's not even like Andy Dalton level.
The quarterback is such a next man up position to reset the market. There's no way he's not going to want to go for all of the different options and zeros that he can get on that contract. But dude, he's going to have a great season finishing off this year to warrant that. I think they're going to pick up the 5th year option. They're going to give him one more year of draft, one more year of free agency to try to build around him, to try to do his thing, and then see where it goes from there.
Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work out and we don't pick up the 5th year option going into, which right now I don't think we should. If we go into next year and we've given all the holes that we have now, we've shored up our linebacking situation. Maybe address some of these offensive line issues that we're going to have if we can't get some of these people back that we have on the offensive line right now. But outside of that, there's no excuse for Bryce Young not being a good quarterback in this offense. We have the run game, we have the receivers, we have the offensive line. Outside of better play calling in many cases, I think it should be a situation any quarterback would love to be in.
We'll see, man. All right, 7 more calls.
AC First Family, this is Eddie Link, North Alabama.
What's up, Eddie Link?
The first half, our defense is back. But granted, it is against Buffalo Bills, one of the better teams in the country. So, did I expect us to win? No. Did I expect us to do a little better? Yes. But it is what it is. This was an L on my chart no matter how good we were playing. And with Bryce out, it makes it even worse. After that fumble, I would have liked to have seen Hendon Hooker. No, just because that would who knows what would have happened. But yeah, our defense being back has not been able to stop a run. Best single first half of a Buffalo Bills rushing attack in forever. That was nice stat to see while I was watching it. And then, it is there. But okay, I'll get back to watching the live stream. Keep pounding everybody. I mean, the sky is not falling. We're still only we're not that bad off.
To me, that depends on the injuries to the O-line. How many people are injured for a long period of time? That's going to matter. And losing Brady Christensen after he filled in for Robert Hunt in a big way, playing at a level no one really expected him to play at, that's a big-time loss too. But I do hear your point, and we are still second place in the division. So we'll have to see, man. Chug on to another Sunday. Let's go to another call.
Yeah, guys. Dave Canal asked. Yeah, he pissed in the Kool-Aid. And then Andy Dalton took a giant shit in it. Good measure. What the fuck was that? And the defense, I don't even know. Like, this looked like last year's. Maybe we were all fooled because the last 3 teams we played have just been ass. We thought we had a good defense. I don't even know. I don't know what to expect from this team going forward. Now, all the damn offensive line, half of them are injured. Derek Brown might be out because Dave Canales won't sit his starters when we're clearly getting blown out. He won't fucking give the ball to Rico to start the game. what other coach in the NFL would do that shit? When you got a player coming off a back-to-back 200-yard plus games, and you don't give him the fucking ball. Chuba Hubbard, you've been great. Sorry if you're going to lose your job because you got injured. Guess what? Life ain't fair. You got to give the ball to the guys that are going to win you the fucking game. Probably doesn't make a huge difference if Rico gets the ball more in this game the way it went. But just starting the
I
game
agree.
with
I
Chuba,
don't know. If it,
him going out there running, getting 2-3 yards. Canales' loyalty is his downfall. Canales is that guy that has a 1997 Honda Accord. He can buy something nicer, but he's going to keep running that old ass car because he loves it. It's good old reliable. Fuck you, Dave Canales. I hope you fucking get fired at the end of this year. Bye.
oh man, dude, people are losing faith in Canales real quick, real quick.
Yeah, I've it year and a half now. I think this is an official. Maybe Wednesday will be his 1.5 of years of being a part of the Carolina Panthers as a head coach, and the fall of confidence, even after coming off of having the best record we've had in years at this point in the season, and to have this confidence just falling off this much over the 2-game stretch that we just had is crazy. It's a crazy crash out, and it's not unwarranted. Like, that's the thing about it. It's not an unwarranted concern because it is the most obvious thing to anybody else with eyes. Like, nobody else is going to look at this offense and say there should be another starter that's taken the majority of the reps other than Rico Dowdle.
Well,
Like,
and he's actively working against himself.
Yes.
If we were losing games, but it didn't also look like the play calling and the personnel decisions was an active part of us losing those games, then it wouldn't be so bad. But it's like a lot of these performances are made worse by the actions of Dave Canales. And it's unacceptable, man. Like, you're trying to prove yourself to be the long-term leader of this organization, and making those decisions, that's not it. That's not it. Let's run through these.
Yeah, I forgot to leave my name because I was losing my fucking mind. This is Matt, Greensboro. Y'all have a great day.
Matt from Greensboro, we appreciate y'all, man. Everybody who calls in the calls, we appreciate y'all. Hey, we are your resident therapy session on a Sunday afternoon after the Panthers lose, man. You already know what we do.
Hey guys, it's the girl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther, back for a second call. Much in the same way that complementary football plays into a team's hands when they're able to play complementary football, and your offense is doing what it needs to do, your defense is doing what it needs to do. It kind of works the same way when you're not playing complementary football. Okay, like when your defense has a stink on it, it just like, your offense, you feel it in your offense because you've got to play from behind because your defense gave up so many points, and the offense is just not getting it done, which then comes back on your defense like, holy crap, I gotta go out and not give up all the points that I know I'm about to give up because these guys on the other side of the field are clearly having a better day than us. So games like this get out of hand really, really quick. And I feel like when we were moving the ball really well and that fumble happened, I feel like that changed the game, almost like the New England game. Although I don't necessarily think we were just yielding like we were in New England, but we weren't much better, and it's a clear sign that Andy's a backup, like I said on my first call. Anyway, guys.
Damn, he held that one. Appreciate you, Joey. Wakanda forever. All right, next call.
What up, C3 Nation? It's Zach Harris out of North Carolina.
What up,
Cody?
Zach?
Hope everybody doing well. Listen, I disagree, man. If Bryce Young would have been in there, we would have won this game. Straight up. You got to think about it. Our first drive, come on. That was pathetic. Second, the Bills always score a touchdown in the first drive all season. We stopped them to 3. Get the ball back. What does Andy do? He fumbles the ball down there. And then what they do? 10 points off turnover. So, no, I disagree. If Bryce would have been in there, this whole game would have been different. And, no, you're wrong, dude. But I love y'all, man. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, bro. Hey, look, this is a big time. Even though Bryce didn't play, it was a big time game for Bryce in that, seeing how bad Andy was, it lets you know Bryce is the quarterback that we're going to need to be successful. And we already knew that, but it's like knowing that we literally don't have anyone besides Bryce. It's a wake up call, but it is what it is, man. Dalton regressed in a way that I didn't even think was possible. Like, dude, Joe Flacco is like, 41, 42, still throwing bombs downfield, and Andy Dalton just looks like a shrub. All right, last 2 calls of the night, man.
Good, Mickey?
I guess.
Oh, man, you know who it is. It's Hood Mickey now. It's been a good minute, C3.
What up, Hood Mickey?
I'm really pissed the fuck off right now. I think we should get rid of Dave Canales. It's like he's playing too much who he has good relationships with. If you know somebody is fucking up, get them the fuck out the game. Any dumb is not fucking there. We should have kept running with the high hands. Rico Dado. He's doing what he do. I'm tired of that trash ass nigga Scott. I think if we would have had Bryce Young in the game, or maybe playing that in the hooker, we would have got one. But that's man. Fuck Dave Canales. And fuck goddamn Zero. Keep pounding. It's time for a new head coach that's going to goddamn make sense. Who Mickey Mouse? Who didn't make me? Who won't do me?
Well, there you have it. Hood Mickey thinks that all the coaches need to go.
Yeah.
You know what? I know he's right about Rivero. I'm tired of doing this will it, won't it defense with the Jero Rivero. I'm tired of the 3-4. I'm tired of the formation. I do think Dave Canales has drafted players that would allow us to be versatile enough to play a 4-3. So, man, I'm ready to move on from this. Canales, I don't know. CK, it's getting harder and harder to defend him. It really is. Like we said, in every single losing performance, he is making decisions from a play calling perspective and a personnel perspective that seems like it's putting us further behind the curve. So, I don't want to do the coaching carousel thing. We often talk about the quarterback carousel and having the never-ending quarterbacks. But, dude, the coaching carousel is just as bad. Like, not knowing who's going to be leading your franchise, that's terrible, man. I want to be able to throw my full endorsement behind Dave Canales, but performances like this, it just doesn't inspire much faith, man.
My only thing with the Dave Canales thing is I still think you've got to keep in mind we hired him and he was just coming off of his first year as a play caller. He had never called plays before in the NFL. In his entire, so he had one good season with Tampa Bay, and it wasn't like such a great season that you're like that was above just nobody else has ever called a play. Like in on paper, it didn't make sense as far as a hire is concerned, right? However, so that's the only reason I'm willing to give him some grace, and I agree with you that a year and a half into his 10 years as a head coach, he's still learning. We've seen that throughout the year. I've given him some grace on a lot of things when it comes to him learning. I've given Evero some grace on some things when it comes to him learning. The problem with the Evero thing is he's coming off of a year where we were historically bad. And two games this season, we're not even halfway through with the year. 2 games out of the 8 games we have played, we have allowed a 200-yard rusher. That's ridiculous, or at least 200 yards rushing. Like, that's unacceptable. And I agree. I think that we need to pull the Band-Aid off. We need to get over this, reset that defense, because we cannot continue to waste the careers of J.C. Horn and Derek Brown and hope that these guys that we have on this defense are going to develop when we have had no evidence that Evero has been able to coach anybody up to be an elite player. Everybody that's been elite on our team has been here before Evero got here, and Derek Brown got paid in spite of Evero, in my opinion. You're muted, by the way.
Dude, it's, I wanted to have some momentum going into this Green Bay game. And we're going to watch Green Bay tonight, the Steelers versus the Packers on Sunday Night Football. But I don't know, man. This is, to me, what to look out for is the injuries. Brady Christensen being out for the year. How much is that going to hurt us? Our center, Cade Mays, being out. Dude, another one that is probably just as important that we're not mentioning as much is Trevin Wallace. If he has a concussion and can't go, like, our ability to stop the run has already been in question, minus these past 3 games. But if our inside linebacker isn't able to go, dude, you might expect more performances like this defending the run in the nearby future, man. Just sucks. CK, last week I rushed out of here and we didn't do the towel of shame, player of the game, but we will do that today. Yeah, let's start off with towel of shame. Dude, this was the most abysmal game. There's so many picks that you could choose. Who was the worst player on the field for the Panthers today, man? Or a coach. It doesn't have to be a player. It could be anyone connected to the Panthers organization that needs to hang their head in shame.
I think I'm going to just go with the low-hanging fruit here, and that's got to be Andy Dalton.
Yeah, man.
Andy Dalton came in here with the keys to the kingdom in front of him. We had an offensive line that, granted, was slightly beat up, but we had some great depth. We have wide receivers that we haven't had here in years, and he was largely just fumbling the ball away, no pun intended, when it comes to an opportunity to be able to show up and show that he isn't washed. Like, if he wanted to have a Joe Flacco kind of resurgence in the NFL, he just shut that door completely with the way he performed today. And so 3 turnovers, all of which, by the way, not a single one I could say was not on him. Like, even that fumble like he had, he was putting his hand back. Like, I'll argue that, yes, that offensive line shouldn't be in his lap at that point in time, but he was holding onto the ball a little bit too long, and he even fumbled the ball without somebody hitting his hand. He just grazed his own players, or I don't remember who it was, our offensive lineman. He grazed his shoulder, and that knocked the ball out of his hands. So because of that and the egregiousness of his turnovers, and the fact that even when there weren't turnovers, he was directly responsible for many of our failures on the offense. I'm going to give the towel of shame to Andy Dalton.
Yeah. I said that we could do it on a coach, and I am. I'm giving it to Dave Canales. Man, I want to be a fan of his. I want to feel like he is the head coach for the future for the Carolina Panthers. But like I said, man, it's a compound effect. He makes bad things worse with his play calling, worse with the personnel decisions that he makes. And it's just, it's not a good look, man. And if he doesn't make changes going forward, then it's going to be even harder to defend him. And you're going to have more and more people calling for his job. CK, who's your player of the game, man?
Player of the game. This is such a hard one.
I know, dude.
I can't even pick. I can't even, I guess you got to give it to Tataroa McMillan. I know that's kind of funny coming off of the fact that Andy Dalton didn't have even 200 yards passing. But of those 175 yards, 99 of them went to Tataroa McMillan. So, maybe I'm giving it to him. I don't know. Mike Jacks was killing it out there too.
Yeah.
So
He
I
had
don't
a
know.
couple of damn near interceptions that he almost had, but it just didn't work for him, man. C3 Legion, we love y'all. This has been another therapy session for all those in Panther Nation who need to vent. My name's Cody Lashney. That's Codizzle Allen. This has been another edition of the C3 Postgame Show. We will be back this Tuesday night at 9 as we preview the Panthers on the road against the Green Bay Packers. Man, we appreciate y'all. We love y'all. This has been another edition of the C3 Panthers podcast. Until next time, we out here. Keep pounding.